Hey Jay, is Hydro Cannon Swampert gonna be any good for Great League PvP?
Battlers! You know what it is, JayDevin back at it with another video. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up, punch the notification bell for more PvP content. For today's video, we are going to be taking a little bit of a look into Swampert, your boy, right down here, and how good he can be for the Great League PvP. There are a few simple questions I personally ask myself when I'm considering how good a Pokemon can possibly be for future metas and for future cups, or just general, usability overall. Number one, they're considerable wins. Number two, they're considerable losses. Number three, are they a shield breaker? And number four, what synergy do they have with other picks? Now, since Mudkip Community Day is going to be coming up on us super quick, here are some stats, if you don't already know them, that you should know and keep an eye out for if you're looking for a PV perfect Swampert. For Great League, his CP that you are going to be looking for, 1498 CP, and it will also have an IV spread of 0, 14, and 14. 0 attack, 14 defense, and 14 HP. Now, as usual, I'm going to be utilizing PvPoke to take a look at Swampert and its overall rankings as a lead, closer, attacker, defender, and its overall matchups against everything in the Great League meta in as many shield scenarios as we can possibly simulate. Okay, so as you can see over here, PvPoke does have him ranked with Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake as an additional charge move. Overall ranked at number 9. Number 9. That is very high in the rankings. He is the top 10 overall ranked Pokemon for Great League PvP. Now, if you want to take a little bit of a deeper look into his ranking overall in Great League PvP, you just have to click on this. What it's going to show you, as you can see, his ranking and his score overall as a lead, closer, attacker, and defender. Now, those numbers might not make much sense at all on the surface. Let's try and find out why by reading the data and by analyzing it a bit. So if you take a look, first off, at its fast moves, Mudshot is busted, obviously. You're going to be using Mudshot, according to PvPoke, at 91.7% of the time. Water Gun is only going to be used 8.2% of the time. That's obviously not to say that Water Gun is going to be useless. It does have some use. It is used according to the Sims in the overall rankings, but Mudshot by far is going to be superior in terms of usability and how often you're going to use it. If you take a look at its charge moves, yes, Muddy Water is used 0% of the time. According to this, you don't use Muddy Water. You're actually going to use Surf before you should probably use Muddy Water. Now, that's not to say there's not going to be some strategies or some team development and team composition behind Muddy Water. That could happen. It's probably going to happen. But according to this, don't use Muddy Water. Sludge Wave is going to be used 2.4% of the time, Earthquake 21.3% of the time, and then Hydro Cannon 75.7% of the time. So 3/4 out of all matchups, if you're going to be using from now on when we get Hydro Cannon, if you're going to be using Swampert after this next community day in the Great League, you should have it with Hydro Cannon. Okay, so as a lead, you can see it only has a score of 88.6. That is a little bit low. It can be a solid lead. Its number is still pretty high up there, but overall, you're probably going to want him have him sit in the back pocket. As a closer, he is ranked at 92.8. That makes sense. Mudshot is going to get to Hydro Cannon very, very quickly. As an attacker, he is ranked at 88.8%. Kind of like the lead, not too crazy, but it is an impressive number. And then as a defender, it is ranked at 96. That is very high. Overall, being a lead, closer, attacker, and defender, everything is at least above 85%, which is great. That is why he is ranked at number 9 overall. He's a very strong, very spammy Pokemon. He can put out the damage super quick. So answering my first basic question, what are its considerable wins, right? As you can see, Bastiodon. It can wreck Bastiodon. Completely wreck it, as well as Lucario. That's a very considerable matchup. Charizard, yes. Marowak, yes. Skarmory, that score is a little close for comfort. If you drop below 500, that's technically going to be a loss. So Skarmory is still going to be a threat. Also, of course, what are its top counters? Tropius. Obviously, Tropius is amazing. Sunflora, Grotle, Abomasnow, and Bayleaf, right? Pretty much Razor Leafers, not the matchup you're going to want to get stuck in with as far as a Swampert. And since we don't have any Hydro Cannon Mudshot Swampert to test at this point, this is not Back to the Future. We cannot travel through time. We're going to utilize PvPoke now to run some battle sims on Swampert to see how it does in certain scenarios, with shields, without shields, with different moves, with the staple moves, etc. And this is going to be in Great League. You want to opt for multi-battle. I am just going to run sims against all Pokemon. So here we are first with Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake against all Pokemon. No shields on Swampert, no shields on any opposing Pokemon, as well as opposing Pokemon having 2 charge moves and baiting, okay? Taking a look at the overall results after we press battle, we do see a lot of blue in the simulations. That's good. It's going to have a lot of wins. You can see how it's kind of level for the most part. It has very, very even matchups. It's going to be very well rounded. It has 255 wins, 84 losses, and 28 draws. Now what we're going to do is run the same sim essentially with the same moveset. I personally do not want to look into different movesets. There are so many different combinations. Swampert, again, against all Pokemon in the Great League, but this time all those Pokemon having 1 shield and also Swampert having 1 shield. So with the overall results of that simulation, I am a little bit more satisfied. It seems like you might want to save at least 1 shield for Swampert. Swampert might not care if they have a shield. 256 wins, 91 losses, and then 20 draws. So in a 2 shield v 2 shield scenario, that is basically if you're going to be using him as an opener. This is why his lead score in an overall ranking perspective is a little bit lower, okay? Only 239 wins, 109 losses, and then 19 draws. So he ends up actually losing a lot more if they have 2 shields and you have 2 shields. So to answer my third general question of, is Swampert a shield breaker? I think yes, he demands shields. If you do not have shields and he has even at least 1 shield, he's going to win a lot of matchups. Hydro Cannon is strong. Now to look into my final question, I typically ask myself when it comes to what Pokemon to consider that are going to have access to different and new moves for future cups or just overall. We're going to be utilizing the team builder feature with PvPoke, and we're going to try to build a team. So obviously we're going to have our boy Swampert in there, and when building a team with Swampert included, obviously something to consider is his weakness. He's weak to grass. Razor Leafers and grass overall is going to be not good news for Swampert. He does not want that matchup. So we need to have something that's going to cover grass, and that's where our trusty Skarmory comes into play, okay? Super resistant to grass. It can destroy grass. It can farm the grass. The Skarm farm is real. These two sitting next to each other in a team of 3 in any kind of open Great League meta or even any other future cup metas that involve their typings, that could be a very strong duo. They have synergy together. That's what I mean by synergy. So at this point now, building this team, I want something that's going to sit next to Skarmory and Swampert that's going to be able to deal with Medicham. Medicham can wreck both Skarmory and Swampert in the right scenario. Medicham is a huge threat still. So what I'm going to do is include something that can potentially deal with the Medicham. Sableye just seems like a good choice. He's a solid choice overall. He has great coverage. The Shadow Claw can hit Medicham hard, but having foul play as well as Power Gem, he can deal with other threats as well too. So now that we've put this team together with good synergy between Swampert and Skarmory, but also having something to threaten the Medicham, let's rate the team. And as you build teams like this, it gives you so much good data. Okay, defense. This team resists 14 of 18 types. It's only weak to 4 of 18 types. You can also look at offense. The team can hit 14 of 18 types super effectively. Overall, most effective against bug, fighting, fire, ghost, ice, poison, psychic, and rock. Another thing you can do is you can see potential threats against your team that you put together, and some of these things might be very common. The notable one that sticks out to me, shout out to Raging Taz, is Ludicolo, as well as Azumarill and Umbreon. Tropius, as you can see, moved considerably down as a threat because of the Skarm coverage. And it will also give you recommendations for potential alternatives to include in your team to make up for your weak spots. Unfortunately, it doesn't really recommend what you should swap out for what. It just says, here's what you should include that's going to make up for the threats. But that's at least a little bit of how I kind of look into synergy and what to use them with. What kind of strategies could you make? That's how I study it, at least. And one more thing to look into before we end this video. It only takes Swampert 5 mud shots to access Hydro Cannon. Now you have to be careful of over tapping. That can be a thing with mud shot. The cycle duration is 11 turns. The damage per turn will be 11.45. That's considerable. So that is just a little bit of a look into the surface on Hydro Cannon Swampert and how good he can be for Great League PvP. Rest in peace, my hundo Swampert here. He has Mudshot, Surf, and Earthquake. I do like to use him in Master League, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get Hydro Cannon on him. Who knows, maybe I'll TM something to Muddy Water for some cheese, but GG's because he is not getting Hydro Cannon. To answer the overall question of, will he be good in Great League PvP? Yes, he will be good. But best wishes for Mudkip Community Day is going to be good. It is considerable. You are definitely going to want at least one Hydro Cannon Swampert for Great League. So GG's to Swampert and GG's to the video because it's over. If you did enjoy, subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up punch the notification bell for more PvP content. That is it for today's video. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good freaking day.